Well, it was 27 years ago we first came to Australia, and just they couldn't even spell Buddhism, let alone know what Buddhism was. So imagine like going around the streets dressed like this. But you got some really good stares, but it's a great advertisement. You know, like they couldn't sort of ignore you dressed like this. But it was tough at first because we didn't have any money, we didn't have a place to stay, so it was very tough. But little by little, when people got to trust you, that was the most important thing, because they checked you out for the first couple of years, knew you were sort of real monks, you were practicing well, you were simple, and you were teaching good things, being kind, and those were sorts of things which inspired people to say, yeah, we want these monks to survive, so they supported us. So we managed to build up a strong community over the years.
My older name is Hasapanna. So Hasa means joyous, Panna means wisdom. So my name is Joyous Wisdom. I learned a lot, and I never thought that being a nun I have to learn lots of things. You know, how to use chainsaw, and with the water system, and how to fix the drain, and digging trenches and things like that, because when you live in the forest, so we have to learn a lot of skills to be able to live in the forest. But I find that it's really good, like lots of experience, lots of things that we thought that only man can do it, and actually we can do it too, you know. Lots of time we always think that we can't. So when we think that we can't. So, but because of we are living in the forest, and because we are the nun communities, so we have to be independent, and then we have to learn to do things ourselves.
Today is a special celebration from Ajahn Brahm's 60th birthday. Thank you to Ajahn. Beautiful heart and beautiful mind.
It's very nice to have my big brother visit me from England for the first time. It's about time you come here, big brother. After many times I visited you, and this is the first time you come to visit me. But nevertheless, I've put on a big party. It's not my birthday party, it's welcoming my big brother from UK. So welcome to this humble place. As you see, I live a very simple life. With lots of solitude and peace. But nevertheless, it's very nice to see you here on my 60th birthday. And I forgive you publicly for all those times you beat me up when I was a kid. So, what is your reflections coming to a Buddhist monastery for the first time?
My reflections are how busy it is, and how many people are here, and how well regarded you are.
Because Buddhism is growing in the Western world, and so am I.
See that?
Very good. Humour, that was part of my upbringing. My father came from Liverpool. If you haven't got a sense of humour in Liverpool, you don't survive. But it's also just part of who you are. It's just being normal, being human, even though you're a monk, and sometimes people think that that's this huge spiritual advanced being who you can't get close to. Humour is something which draws people together. When you laugh, everybody laughs, and that means that everybody is part of you. Sometimes you have a nice breakfast like this, meet your old friends, hear a few funny stories from a Buddhist monk, which is quite rare these days, and then you go home, and on the way home you tread in the dog shit. Now there's one thing I must tell you, if you do tread in the dog shit, please, 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 don't scrape it off your shoes. Take it home with you, and Don't scrape it off until it's under your mango tree or under your apple tree. Because you find out if you scrape it off under your apple tree or mango tree, 1 year later your mangoes will be sweeter and juicier than ever before. But remember, when you eat that mango, you must remember what you're really eating. It's dog shit, but it's been transformed into juicy mango. And now you understand what that simile means. No, we do get the cancers in life, we do get the difficulties, the problems in life, but who knows? If you know how to make use of that, you can make beautiful mango juice out of the smelliest of dog shit. When there are those problems in life, people keep sort of coming to see us. And there's also, because it's arranged retreat and we don't travel, unfortunately these days we've got emails and we've got telephones. So now we do have the Dial-a-Monk counselling service. And so we want to soon have a Dial-a-Nun counselling service once we build our Dharmasala House monastery. When I was in Hong Kong recently, after I left, one of the nuns who at the temple said, "Thank you for coming. Before you came, I was not allowed to laugh. Every time I smiled, people said, no, Buddhists aren't supposed to do that. When you came here and smiled and everyone was happy, now I can smile as well. Thank you so much." Yeah. So it's a beautiful, compassionate thing to do, to make people happy. And much of humour is about a truth, about the human condition of what we are and just how stupid we are sometimes. That's why people laugh, because when we laugh, we're laughing at ourselves.
Bring over some dim sums. Please. This is a message for everybody in Hong Kong. Bring over some real dim sums.
Underneath us, we're still big kids at Bodhinyana Monastery. And so we have a lot of fun. And isn't that important in life? Doesn't matter how old you are or how senior you are, remember play is important. When play, when you're not allowing your mind to go in one direction, you're allowing it to sort of go off into weird directions. And when you experiment that way, you come up with some very interesting new ideas. So play is really important. So because I'm very, very playful, yeah, I get in trouble sometimes, but you also have a lot of innovation happens as well. It's how we experiment. So in your life, don't be so serious.
My ordained name is Venerable Nirodha, and here in Australia we use Venerable for a fully ordained nun, a bhikkhuni. I arrived in January 2001, so I'm here now over 10 years. Together with Venerable Hasapanna, we for the time being are co-abbots, and we're both of us taking care of the monastery. And I'm very happy to say both of us work together in a very harmonious way. And we do hope that it's for the benefit of all beings, including ourselves. We are trying our best. We are trying to establish something quite unique for women to be able to lead or experience monastic life, because in many traditions, in many spiritual endeavors, women are very often disadvantaged.
Now, I've got a really nice monastery, so I don't need anything more. Just where I live is very peaceful and wonderful, got lots of support. So you say, why don't you just rest? But no, you can't rest when there's something missing, when there's some portion of our community which are not being treated fairly. And of course, in spirituality, that's women, half the population. What about the rest of humanity, the other half, the females? Why can't they have exactly the same? The wonderful thing is that in original Buddhism, there was that equity there. There was the same possibilities for women and men, and somehow we lost that. In our modern world, it's something which doesn't feel right about that.
For most people in Asia, especially in Thailand, for them, being a monk is something very noble. Being a nun is that someone that being old or sick or they are the failure. That's why they being a nun. But actually it's not. A lot of the nuns here, they're being highly educated and they have a successful career and they come in.
Yeah, there's already one goal in the last few years which I've been working on, is to have equity between the genders, so that to have full ordination for nuns, and we've managed to start that off a couple of years ago. It still hasn't got full acceptance yet, But certainly if Buddhism is going to survive in our modern world, in the West and in the East, we have to make sure that there is equity, which is just basic respect. That's as it was in the time of the Buddha. Female monastics getting as much support, reaching the very heights of spiritual attainments, so there'll be hardly any difference between the nuns and the monks. Equal respect.
Having the monastery here because we're independent, so we are not dependent on the monks. And by having a nuns monastery, actually it gives a lot of confidence to a lot of women. We have some women come here and they can see that yes, actually women can do it. We are not second class. We are as intelligent as a man, but only thing that we have to be given the opportunities. We need to be given the opportunities to be independent.
So this is a very unique undertaking here, and as you know, as you have seen, the land is it's a very large, unique block of land, an area of very unique Australian wildlife here. We are a wildlife sanctuary in that sense, but we also a sanctuary for women seeking ordination, for women seeking a spiritual life.
This is the only training monastery, training nuns in this tradition, especially for nuns. Actually, this is the only one.
Being a good teacher is, again, being able to not talk down to people, but talk not above people, but talk at the same level. You can be honest, you can be upfront, you can teach from the heart, and you can bridge that gap. And the relating Buddhism to people's daily lives, and humour as well. And one of the most important things is, I found in teaching, never planning what you're going to say, but just keeping a kind, peaceful mind, and then relating to people. For example, I gave a talk a couple of nights ago about Buddhism and bananas. But when you have a banana, you usually peel it from the top. And that's a lot of suffering. Sometimes it squashes, sometimes it's hard to open. And the reason is we don't really follow the experts. Who are the experts with bananas? Monkeys. And if you watch how a monkey peels a banana, it peels it from the bottom. So when you learn how to peel it from the bottom, like the experts do, you have less suffering. And that's like a simile about people come to the experts, the monks, they learn how to meditate, they learn how to let go of suffering and pain in life. Because too much in life, it's like we peel the banana at the wrong end. And that's why you have pain and suffering. So you come and learn from the monks, you learn how to peel life at the right end, and then it doesn't get all squashy and squishy.
We're just trying to rise to the occasion. So it's not that we certainly, I feel, we're not fostering any ambitions. We don't try to be the best and the biggest. But as it happens, out of our karmic potential, that many good things have come together.
They were driving, we could see this small piece of land up in the back of Gijigana, 30 acres. But as we passed this big sign, 600 acres of paradise. And of course I said, let's have a look at it. They said, no, we can't afford that. And unfortunately, I'm not just a spiritual director of the Buddhist Society of Western Australia, I'm also known as a spiritual dictator. So I told them, get inside there, I want to have a look at this place. And of course it was beautiful. That's our present Dharmasara. So I said, let's give it a try. So it was going to be auctioned. And of course, we don't know how much it was going to be. And this gentleman over here, Eddie Fernando, he was a person who was bidding for us. And when we actually saw how much money we had in the kitty, borrowing a bit from there, another loan, interest-free loan from somebody else, borrowing, when we got everything together, the maximum we could possibly afford, the maximum, and that was really stretching it, was 600,000. We knew that was going to be very difficult. So I got there early with a few monks. And my goodness, did I do some heavy chanting. Really heavy stuff. And then when they did the bidding, the auction, it was really exciting. And they started bidding. And it went up to, I think, Eddie, he put his hand up for 600,000. I'll give it. And I was using all the powers of my mind to try and keep people's mouths shut. And then someone put their hand up and said, 625. Oh, we'd lost it. No, we're over the top, we can't afford that. And this man, Eddie, put his hand up and said 650. And our treasurer, he was going apoplectic, he went red, steam was coming out of his ears. He can't do that. And of course he did, it was too late. So it was brought for 650. Because Eddie Fernando over here did not follow instructions. Thank you, Eddie.
This is where it all started, about I think 12 years ago, when Ajahn Brahm was residing here all by herself. Mm-hmm. So she was staying in the caravan over there. Mm-hmm. And this is a shed where the lay people come and offer food every day. Mm-hmm. And she will give a Dharma talk every day to whoever comes. Sometimes it's just a single person come here, she'll still give a talk.
Now we got sort of an idea, let's start a Nuns monastery. All of these things is totally on faith. Ridiculous ideas. How can you get enough money, enough land to get sort of another monastery? We've only got one. Isn't that enough? One of the biggest things which happened for our Nuns monastery was when I received a call, and it was this Australian Caucasian man, lived over in Fremantle. He wanted to do something for his daughter. His wife had just given birth to their first child, who was a daughter. And he had heard that we were raising funds to buy land for our Nuns monastery. And he came to see me and said, I want to make a donation to your Nuns monastery out of gratitude for having my first child, a daughter. So I don't know if my daughter would ever want to become a nun, but in case she does, I want a place where she can do that if she wants to. So he wrote out a check, $250,000. Even me, my hand was shaking. 250,000. And he was an ordinary man, I never saw him again. So it's amazing, that type of generosity, it was like coming totally out of the blue. That's what actually makes these things happen. It's difficult to get all these buildings going on, but we just don't think of how long it's going to take. We're just going to say, yeah, we're going to do this. And just like our Jhana Grove retreat centre, that was the same. You know, people are thinking, no, look, we can't afford this, it's too big, it's too much. You know, a few $1 million, where are we going to get that from? But you keep on trying, you keep on going, and little by little, amazing people come along.
There are many aspects of this uniqueness of the place. First of all, we are a part of Australia where Buddhism is very esteemed and where Buddhism is very well respected. And we have, as you can see, multicultural people coming here. And it's very, from my own experience, very unique that we all live together in great harmony, actually practicing kindness.
The community here, especially the lay supporters, and they're really very supportive, and they're really, it couldn't be better. They're really supportive of the nuns here.
Because we have, as you can see, people from all backgrounds, from all nations, from many nations come here. We're able to talk to them. We're able to talk to them from our own background, but also by getting to know everyone better, by getting to know ourselves better.
Because when I just came here, I couldn't understand, because different culture, different background, and sometimes I at the beginning, I just couldn't get my head around, But after a while, I tend to open up myself, and actually it's helped me to become more compassionate and becomes a kinder person.
One of the nice things about our Buddhist society is the real people, real monks, real nuns. You can actually come and see them, talk to them, share jokes with them. This place we're standing at now, this is our monastery, and this is, we'll have about 20 monks here soon,
And this is a place, this is our home. In order to make sure that we look after the lay community, we've got a big centre over in Nolamara, but we need places where people can meditate and be quiet, so we have the meditation retreat centre as well. And that's incredibly popular because we've made it comfortable for people. So meditation is not some like going to the dentist, which you have to be afraid of, but you've got to do anyway, so you grit your teeth and think, I better go on meditation retreat. No, it's something you like doing, because it's comfortable. You see here that these are your monks and your nuns, and you see them when they're just working in the kitchens of Dharmasava, and they're working in the kitchens of Bodhinyana. You see them as Anagarikas, then you see them becoming novices, then you see them becoming monks, and then you see them giving their first talks, and these are your monks. You should be very, very proud of them. One of the most important things is sincerity, because so many people have lost their faith in institutions, in government, in police, even teachers, and in churches as well. But for the last 27 years we've been here, we've had an impeccable record, and that's one of the wonderful things we've been able to achieve, simply because we've been so open.
We are taking care, we're taking care of the land, we're taking care also in a way of future generations. But by the same token, we only can do what is possible.
Just a simple life and a life of integrity. We don't have lots of material things. So we are teaching by example. And it is possible. And this kind of happiness, this is the happiness of peace, happiness of calm. Only by being calm, peaceful, only the inner peace and the calmness leads to contentment. Actually, contentment is the greatest wealth.
If the female Sangha is well established, I feel they have an important role to play for society and also for the Sangha at large. I cannot explain in words, but the ordination for me has made a very big difference. And I will always honor that, and I know it will always honor and respect and with gratitude to all the people, monks and nuns, who have been involved in making this possible. And therefore it's very important that we have a so-called international monastery here, where people from many backgrounds, people from many nations can come and practice together. Once you start on the spiritual path, East and West in the end falls away. And as Venerable Hasapanna mentioned, we all have to then open up to other people's doing, how they are, how they function, but underneath of it all, we will experience in our own heart, in our own minds, the same humanness.
Now, at the end of our life, what have we done really inspiring, really good? Building places for monasteries, building Buddhist centres, places where people could go and meditate at our Jhana grove. These are great things which we've all achieved. And that's what a society is. People who come together for a beautiful cause and we make it happen. When we had the scale model for our retreat centre, a lot of people said, oh, that's just a dream. We'll never raise enough money for that. Now you go there and it's there. It's reality. In a few years' time, you remember this evening. You remember when the Sala complex at Dharmasala Monastery was just a model, a small model which you can fit in the back of your car. And then you'll see it, reality. A beautiful complex there, where people can go and meditate with the nuns. They can stay overnight. They can just relax and be refreshed. It's a resource, a beautiful resource for you and for everybody else. So that's why we're doing these things, to inspire, to do something very meaningful for our society.
Certainly, I'm very grateful to our donors, and we hope that they also can come and visit us and enjoy and see through their generosity what has been made possible for the benefit of so many people.
So the nun monastery here, maybe your daughter, your granddaughter, your great-great-granddaughter, they might not want to become a nun, but if they want to become a nun, there is a nun monastery here in Western Australia. So that is benefit many more future generations to come. So this is our future. Dhammasara future is our future. So the prosperity of the Dhammasara Nuns Monastery depends on all of us.
I've been a preceptor for many years now, and it's always one of the great joyful things to ordain young people and to see them becoming novices and then monks, and especially to see them starting to giving their first talks when they were monks. You come here and you see good news. You see beautiful people doing beautiful things, spreading peace, kindness, simplicity in our world. And becoming a monk is an example of that. Becoming a nun is an example of how we can indeed share and spread goodness in our world. So it's a wonderful thing that you see here that these are your monks and your nuns, and you see them when they're just working in the kitchens of Dhammasara, and they're working in the kitchens of Bodhinyana. You see them as anagarikas, then you see them becoming novices, then you see them becoming monks, and then you see them giving their first talks, and these are your monks. You should be very proud of them.
Well, it gives me great pleasure to be president this year, the year of Ajahn Brahm's 60th birthday. And what a day it is too, and what excitement and pleasure that we've all had in leading up to it, just preparing for this day. For those of us that have been working over the last couple of years, and you know the trials and tribulations that Ajahn Brahm in particular has had, along with the ordination of the nuns and so on, it's particularly gratifying really to have you here, sir, to present this statue today. Quite a wonderful thing for the King of Thailand to permit such a statue to come to the Bodhinyana Monastery. And I'm sure that Ajahn Brahm feels very good about that too.
Bodhinyana Monastery, Sheppard, Western Australia, and in particularly the most venerable Ajahn Brahm, has been instrumental in bringing the Dhamma and propagation of Buddhism to this vast continent. In respect of this noble undertaking, the World Fellowship of Buddhists hereby present and respectfully engage one Prasasada Buddha image to the Bodhinyana Monastery, Sheppard. May I also take this opportunity to congratulate the most venerable Ajahn Brahm as attaining his 60th birthday anniversary and 37 years of ordained practice and propagation of the Dhamma.
And I'm just going to start the song. Join in with the, I'd appreciate that. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Mom. Happy birthday to you.
So, hope everyone has a wonderful day, and make peace, be kind, be gentle, and please smile a lot.